Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening for those that are tuning in from far in Europe. Good morning. My name is Grant Jennings, and with me I've got Matt Hull. And today we are excited to present our new Wayfinder DVL. So the Wayfinder is the first of a series of new products using a brand new Doppler platform that we've been developing for the last couple of years. And the reason we developed the Wayfinder was basically due to just customer feedback over the last few years from when we launched the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder took us into a new market of these smaller ROVs and AUVs, and no sooner had we developed that product, everybody went smaller, and they wanted to take the micro ROVs and do a lot more with them. So that is where the Wayfinder was born from, and today myself and Matt will give you an overview of what we've been working on. So as I mentioned briefly, the Wayfinder is really a new market for us. It's something we've dabbled in, but the search, survey, salvage sort of area, in the past they've really just taken a smaller ROV and they've manually controlled it. But over the last few years, there's been a need for sort of more automation, holding station, waypoint navigation, and that is, has brought on the need for the use of USBL and DVLs. And so we've been obviously selling products into that market, but there's a price point, and these micro ROVs are certainly a lot smaller than what customers are used to paying in the past. So, that market needed a different product, and that's really where the Wayfinder is intended for. In addition to that, infrastructure. We all know that the world's infrastructures are getting old in the tooth, and I know in the US, I forget the statistics, but there are tens of thousands of bridges, locks, dams that need attention and need inspection. And you can imagine going up and down a dam wall with an ROV. It's real monotonous work. So if you can automate that and basically, like a multi-beam of mowing the lawn with a multi-beam system, if you can mow the side of a dam structure with a ROV and set a pattern, you can automate that with a DVL. In the past, again, you could take an ROV down and look at the hull of a ship, but in murky waters, you can miss something, and it only takes, a small sort of object to be put on the hull of a ship, whether it's drugs or explosives, in sort of zero visibility water, you can miss that. So if you can actually set a grid and survey the underside of a ship, or even the dock side, again, automating that with a navigation solution is what customers want to do. And so again, that is where we've sort of positioned this new product. Fish farming, big business, but there's a lot of money tied up in those pens. And you imagine if you get a hole or damage in the net, you're going to lose a lot of money, and also you can get predators to come in and they can basically take out your entire fish stock. So being able to go around the fish pens and go up and down and monitor them, again, automating that just makes life easier, and you won't miss something. So again, that's another area that people are interested in using automated ROV surveys. And of course, biological research, looking at coral reefs, or, basically, sorry, I heard something. Is there a question? Okay, carry on. So biological research, again, it's something where you want to be able to sit, look at something, zoom in with a high-res camera and just inspect either animals on reefs or literally the condition of the reefs. So here we go. So this is exactly what we've basically been working on. For these smaller vehicles, we need a smaller product. And here is the Wayfinder. So basically, the Wayfinder is, as I mentioned earlier, it's the first of a series of new products, and our new electronics platform is a much smaller platform. So that has allowed us to build a product that literally fits in the palm of your hand. By reducing the size, we can obviously reduce the weight, and it's allowed us to bring it down to a price point that's acceptable for these lower cost systems. You can no longer put $100,000 ROV and a $30,000 DVL just used for the applications I mentioned earlier. So everything we needed to do was scale down. So both as the capabilities, you just don't need what we can offer in our other products, but at the same time, we still need robust data and the quality of the data, and that's obviously what RDI is known for. So obviously, this product, it may be new, but it utilizes 28 years of history of us building DVLs. And as a lot of you know out there, we have thousands of DVLs on every platform you could possibly imagine. And so that experience is what we've put into this product. So just to reiterate on that, performance, size, and pricing. Those are the things that we've been working on. So as I mentioned, we have not cut any corners with the performance. Our bottom tracking algorithms are, they're the best. We know this is what we do. We've been doing it longer than anybody else. So we have really run into every scenario, every bottom type you can imagine. And our algorithms have been sort of developed over the last 28 years to deal with that. So whether it's sand, soft mud, rock, we deal with that. The types of maneuvers you see on these vehicles on the right-hand side, this is a typical test tank pattern you would do with one of these small ROVs. And, obviously we have Seabotics, which is a sister company. We're very familiar with how those vehicles work. And then recently we've been working with Blue Robotics with the ROV2. So these smaller ROVs move differently to what, in the past you're used to with work class ROVs or the larger inspection class. They're faster, they maneuver, they turn 360 on themselves. So we've been able to sort of test in real time the way you need to sort of react to those maneuvers. And on the bottom, this is just a typical example. It may be hard for you to see, but on the top graph, the blue is our bottom tracking. On the bottom, these are our X and Y velocities. And the orange and the red is typically what you would see from another sort of entry-level DVL. So much noisier. Yes, it tracks the bottom, but it's noisy. So that's going to increase your errors and reduce your accuracy, where ours is still rock solid, as typically what you expect from RDI. And at the same time, you get less dropouts. Ours is just solid throughout the whole survey, where as another product would probably drop out, lose some of the bottom lock. So it's what we do is bottom tracking. Pocket size, yeah, like I said, it fits in the palm of your hand. So I've got a chart later on that shows you the difference between the Pathfinder and the Tasman, which a lot of people are familiar with. But yeah, basically it's just 10 centimeters square and 7 centimeters high. So it fits in pretty much the majority of vehicles we've run across. There's nothing we cannot fit this on. And being the way we've designed it, it's just a simple 4-bolt, put it onto, just 3D print a plate, install it, single cable, which is integrated into it, just RS-232 and power, and away you go. So very easy. And Matt Hull is going to go through how you actually, the new data format that we've developed and all of the tools that his team have created to make the integration just very simple. And price. So first time ever, we've been able to offer a DVL for less than $10,000. We listened, for many years, we've been part of the RoboSub community and working with universities around the world. And they've all said they would love to get their hands on one of our DVLs, but they just didn't have the budget. And it really didn't make much sense to put, a $15,000 DVL on a $4,000 ROV. So we've bought like I said, we've got a brand new Doppler platform that's allowed us to basically bring the price point down. And so, yeah, $7,500 is the list price, and we'll be working with OEMs around the world on sort of OEM pricing, quantity discounts, but that is going to be the list price. And for customers in the United States, we're going to have a Shopify website where you can just go online and buy it. So even the purchasing process can be very simple to do. So that will go live in the next week or two, and we'll have stock levels on there. And then also Matt will go through all of the online information that we're going to provide with this product, which again, open source code, manuals, everything. It's all going to be available online. So as I mentioned earlier, what is the marketplace for this? Well, it's the small ROVs and micro AUVs. So as you can see here is just a quick snapshot to some of the vehicles we work with, whether it's the small little, micro AUVs from Riptide, or, the Seabotics, the Sea Drone, the Blue RV. We've already installed our products on these, and we actually had pathfinders on them. So to go even smaller with the Wayfinder was a much easier task of installing it on there. So yeah, this is the sort of customer base that have been asking for this product, and we've listened, and now we've come up with this product exactly what you're asking for. So here you can see just a visual of how, the size of the Wayfinder, and these are just, the specs comparison. I won't sort of talk through them all. You can download all this off of our website. A lot of you are already Tasman and Pathfinder customers, but as you can see, it really differentiates the difference between the three products, different markets. So the Tasman is what you're going to put on a work-class ROV doing pipeline surveys. You need the best accuracy and depth ratings down to 6,000 meters. The Wayfinder, coral reef, port and harbors, you just don't need that sort of deeper depth rating, and the performance as well. With this product, the bottom tracking will be a base accuracy only to begin with. So again, very easy to just export all over the world. Yeah, we've even made, the moving of this product around the world easy. And, as you can see, the specs are designed to be around this application, the applications I mentioned in the first 5 slides. So now I'm going to pass it over to Matt, and he's going to go over what him and his team have been working on the software side of things.
Okay, so thanks, Grant. So when it comes to the software and the tools, we've taken the philosophy that we need to make things as simple and as easy as possible and as accessible as possible. So that when you start using a Wayfinder, it makes the experience a lot better, a lot more friendly, and you can get into using it very quickly and easily. And when we do that, what that means is we've made our code open source. We've provided a lot of examples, code snippets, and then documentation that's available online so that you can easily access it at all times. So next slide. So the communication with the Wayfinder is binary. So it's a binary protocol for all of the commands and responses from the system. And the commands are fully dynamic. So what that means is that when you're communicating with the Wayfinder, you don't need to stop it. You don't need to set a break or anything else. The system is running, and you can interact with it directly whilst it's pinging the whole time. So when you send a command to the system, every command is followed by a response from the system. And I'll go through some of the details on that a little bit later. But fundamentally, what that means is it's a very simple command response interaction with the system at all times. And documentation for how the system works, how it communicates, and how you can integrate with it, as I mentioned earlier, is completely available all online. Next slide. So let me give you a quick example. So I'm not going to go into the details on it, but fundamentally, this is a command for setting the speed of sound dynamically at runtime whilst the system is pinging. So if you have some sort of input where you can calculate the speed of sound, then you can actually, in real time, update the speed of sound calculations on the system, and that can be sent whilst the system is pinging. It has a simple command and response system, and whilst there's a lot of information in there, it's actually fairly simple. So you're basically just sending the speed of sound in that initial packet and getting a response packet saying everything's good. And each and every one of the commands that you work with the Wayfinder follows exactly the same kind of protocol and system. So once you get the hang of one command, then the rest is all very straightforward. Next slide. So we also have a Python driver. So whilst in the previous slide, I was going over some of the commands, and maybe you want to work with it and write your own command drivers for whatever operating system you choose. We also provide a driver written in Python that implements the full binary interface. The code for that is completely available online as well. So you can see how we've done it. You can use it as reference material. You can use it for your own driver. You can do whatever you like with it. But it fundamentally just wraps all the commands and responses from the DVL, making it very easy for you to then work with the system at runtime. So for example, in the situation where you're changing the speed of sound, it's just a simple set speed of sound command, and it works or it doesn't. So it's very simple. That also allows you to change all of the DVL settings and the configuration, also runtime, with very, very simple commands. And also the data is also completely wrapped so that you can extract out individual parameters with simple commands. And it allows the whole interface to be a lot simpler and easier, and follows more of a modern convention that you expect with most open source drivers. And just for those who are Python programmers, it's for Python 3.6 or higher, and we use Anaconda 5.0.1. Next slide. So I'm going to go through a very quick example of using the Python driver for those people who are kind of coders. So this is an example that shows very quickly how you connect to the DVL, how you get the data back, and then how you pull out the timestamp for the sample that you just received. So on the right-hand side, it's actually that entire interaction sequence, and the entire setup can be done with that simple page of code. So it's very, very straightforward, and using this Python driver, which can run both on Windows and on Linux, makes things so much simpler. And once again, code snippets and examples are available online with these drivers, all completely open source. Next slide. We also provide a full suite of software tools. If you don't want to do a driver, if you don't want to write your own, if you don't want to use the Python driver, we also have a complete software suite, which we call Wayfinder tools. That's a full Python application that can run under Windows and on Linux as well. In fact, you can even run it on the platform of your ROV, which makes things very simple. That application contains all of the core utilities, tools, and everything else that you would need. We actually use it in-house to do all the functionality for the Wayfinder, so it encompasses pretty much everything that you would need on it. It includes full real-time interface, all of the diagnostics and everything else. So I'll go through some of the details on that too. The idea with that is it's a very simple to use application, very straightforward, very clean, and everything you need is in one single place. Next slide. So you can see in these two screenshots that in the top one, you can do all the standard utility functions. So you can upgrade your firmware, you can enable certain features, set things back to factory defaults. It has all of the standard stuff like showing your system configuration. You have full real-time display, so you can see your data actually being displayed. You can trigger pings using the software trigger. There's also diagnostics in terms of how well the hardware is working, FFTs to determine interference with the system, and also you can update the system as well. Next slide. So we also have a ROS driver. So the whole goal here, I'm running through a bunch of different drivers and tools. The idea with this is it gives you many options. You can choose one or all of these different drivers to interact with the Wayfinder, but the goal here is to provide a full suite or a comprehensive suite that gives you the options so that you can work directly with the Wayfinder regardless of what platform you're using. And the ROS driver, which is Robotic Operating System driver that we have, also works with the Wayfinder DVL, also written in Python, and source code is available for this. And so this allows you to very quickly and easily work, or at least get started with, to customize the ROS driver for using the Wayfinder with your ROS platform. Next slide. And I mentioned this several times, but all of the source code is available online. The drivers, the documentation, everything is available online. So the whole goal with that is you have full access to manuals, you have full access to all of the API documentation, driver documentation, everything is available on the Shopify website. And we also have GitHub website as well with example apps for the Python driver and the Python driver source code. So once again, everything is easy to download. You don't go through the RDI portal. It's all straight through the website, very simple and easy, and you can access everything that you need. So the whole goal here is to provide drivers, documentation, so everything is at your fingertips at all times. Next slide.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, so as you can see, Matt and his team have pretty much thought of everything just to make the integration onto your vehicle a very, very simple and easy thing to do. So following on with our series of 5 reasons, I probably can't beat Josh Dugan in the bayou, but here are just, a summary of what we've talked about on this. So, the Wayfinder, it's the quality of the data. You've got 28 years of experience, over 30 odd years of RDI, sort of Doppler experience, but bottom tracking, this is what we do, this is what we've been doing, we're the best at it. Size, it fits on all of the vehicles you can imagine. So here we've just got 2 examples of the Brewer RV2 and the Sea Drone. It fits, no problem, and the weight of it isn't going to affect the payload. Price point, it's where we needed to be, and that's what customers are asking for, so we've listened. Just mentioned integration, very simple, and by having everything online, you have 24/7 access to that. And then support, just remember, you're buying from Teledyne Marine, so we do have sales and support folks all over the world. So, all 3 regions, we have offices, we have support staff. So, if you run into any issues, we're there to help you. So with that, I'll wrap up and we'll open this up to any questions. So thank you for listening.
Okay, hi Grant, this is Margot Newcomb with Teledyne. I do have a question here for you. Looks like one question came in from Igor. I think I missed the bottom lock maximum range. What is it?
60 meters.
Great. And if anyone else has questions, be sure to type them in.
So the data sheet is available online right now. So that gives you all of the specs that I had on that one slide.
Okay, I see another question coming in. Will there be an OEM version for integrators?
Because this is so small, we don't feel at the moment. So the first release is what you see. It's a self-contained 200 meter package, 10 by 10 by 7. It really depends on what customers want. But right now, the first release, there is no OEM. We feel as though that's actually smaller than our OEM Pathfinder. So not at this moment in time. But that's not to say in the future, we've got a lot of great new features and upgrades planned for this product. So yeah, just watch this space. But the first iteration is what it is. It's the self-contained system you saw online. And we have the dimensional information on the data sheet, which you can download right now.
Okay, great. I got another question here. This is from Troy. Not sure if you'll have this answer, but he says, will the Video Array Pro 4 support the Wayfinder DVL?
We certainly hope so. We haven't talked to Video Array yet, but they've integrated all of our previous DVLs, so we don't see any reason why not. It's certainly smaller than the previous DVLs we've installed on it. The interface is simpler, so there's no reason why it should not, but we just need to talk to Video Array and make sure we tie that interface up.
Okay, great. Another question from Akshay. Can you sell it in South Africa?
Yes, absolutely. South Africa is not a problem. De Beers is one of our very good customers.
Great. Another question. The minimum range is 50 centimeters. Any chance that will be improved in software?
Yes, it will. So this is our first release of the product, and we will definitely be making improvements over the next few months. We wanted to get the product out there. But yeah, we've seen slightly better in the test tank, but we're going to put 50 centimeters right now, just so that we can test it in all the different environments that we typically do for our products. So yes, that will improve. Can't say what it will be, but yes, we have a couple of neat features coming out in the future that will definitely reduce the minimum height above the seabed.
Okay, great. And power consumption.
25 watts peak. And again, that's on the data. That's on the data sheet. We actually just updated that this week. So yep. And also, I think next week we'll have the full technical manual on the website. So you'll be able to not only just the data sheet, you'll be able to pull down the full manual, which will have all the detailed electrical interface information on there.
Okay, great. Any plans for a 300-meter rated system?
Oh, that's funny. You launch 200, someone wants 300, and then 400. If there's a need for it, yeah, if there's a need, we'll do it. But right now, we're going to do 200 because the Pathfinder offers 300-meter rating. So right now, we're just going to go with 2.
Great. How does it compare to the other DVLs in your line of product? Should we expect less accuracy, range, etc.?
Well, it's the quality of the data, support, and low risk. You buy from us, you're going to get a product that you know is going to work. Not saying that the others don't work. Absolutely, they do. But we stand behind ours. We're more experienced than anybody else with DVLs. So yeah, we feel that we have a very competitive product, and in our mind, it's the best one out there.
Okay. And we do have a chart that does show the differences between the various DVLs. So we'll make sure that we get that into your hands as well, so that everybody can clearly see which DVLs can be right for which application.
Like we said, this is the first of this is the first release of the Wayfinder. It will only get better.
Great. And Eric is asking about the warranty.
12 months, a standard, same as our other products.
Terry is asking, do you anticipate that the power consumption will fall in the future?
I don't know at the moment. That would be a question for our electrical team. So if you just send me an email on that, we could talk to the guys and see if there's something we can do on the ping cycling to reduce that if it needs to be reduced. But we have, I know on their other products we can dial it back. So yeah, send me an email directly and we can discuss that.
Okay, 2 more from Terry here. Will there be a deeper rated version? They want 2,500 meters. So again, I think that plays back to our full line of DVLs, right?
Yeah, we've got a 1,000 and a 6,000 meter rated Pathfinder, so we're covered on that.
Great. Is there a plan to add current profiling?
Maybe. Like I said, we got some neat features coming out in the future. So as at the moment, it's not available, but watch this space. And
again, we have a full line of DVLs that do have that capability. So options if that's an immediate need. What is the maximum baud rate? I saw 115,300 hertz.
Yeah.
Oh, he says
15.2. Yeah.
15.2. Okay. Great. Grant, what's the lead time?
Mid-October, we're going to start shipping. So Shopify will go live, what, in 1 or 2 weeks, Margot? And then we should be shipping mid-October. Yep.
Okay, great. And that was from Graham. Graham's also asking, what's the system bandwidth?
Oh, as in the frequency bandwidth, same as the Pathfinder and the Tasman, 6.25.
Great. And Marshall is asking, what's the maximum velocity?
10 meters per second.
All right, lots of great questions here. Anyone else before we
Like I said, yeah, you're more than welcome to email me directly. Anything else that pops up in your mind, just reaching out to me, either call me or email me. And obviously the rest of the team around the world, in Europe, Ed Cheeseman, Loic Michel, in Asia, Martin Grange. So yeah, we've got a whole team of people. They're all fully aware of the Wayfinder. So reach out to our team.
Okay, great. And as Grant mentioned, we do have the brochure and information now on our website. So if you go to teledynemarine.com/wayfinder, you'll find that information there with the Shopify soon to follow. This webinar has been recorded, so we will be sending that out tomorrow along with some links to the information that we've referenced. And as Grant said, if there's anything else you need, you know where to find us. We are always happy to help you out. So,
Great.
all right.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Great, Grant, thank you so much. Matt, thank you. Wonderful presentation as always. We'll get the recording off to everyone, and yeah, we're excited about this new product. So thanks to everyone for your time today.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.